What is going on, fellas? And welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, then hello. We are doing a relegation rescue. So we're going to take over a club that are in the relegation zone of their respected league. It's only going to be the top 5 leagues. So England, France, Spain, Italy, Germany. We're going to take one of those teams and see if we can save them. Obviously taking over just before January. So obviously we have a little bit of time to make some transfers and see if we can fix whatever the previous manager has failed to fix. So for the first part, or for the first club of this series, we are taking over none other than Newcastle, who are currently sitting bottom of the league in the Premier League. And I picked them because they were the furthest away from potentially being saved. So this is going to be the first episode. I'm going to do these probably for a couple of seasons. I'm going to manage the club for one season, then move on to a different one in the not too distant future after that. So if you do want to enjoy this episode or this series, make sure to like and subscribe. Lets me know that you're enjoying it, and then I'll just continue to do more of them. And stick around because I'm doing other fantastic content. I think it's fantastic. I love what I do. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Now let's jump into the rescue. Right, folks. So like I said, Newcastle is our first club. They're bottom of the league. Our first game is in 3 days. Only one win so far. 5 points away from Sheffield United, who actually have the top goal scorer. Ollie McBurney is the top goal scorer in the league. Did not expect that. But yeah, 5 points behind. One win so far this year. And a quick look. It was against Man City, but it was a long time ago. So their form has been not very good. Getting knocked out by Burnley in the Carabao Cup, being beaten by Peterborough in the Carabao Cup second round. But there's not been a huge amount of goals so far, which is definitely something that you'd worry about. Like, they got beaten by Man United 4-0. Fairly comprehensive, but then again, it is Man United, so to be expected. We're playing Fleetwood in the FA Cup, so that's in theory an easy enough one, or an easy enough game. We haven't actually checked finances yet, so I don't know how much money we have to spend. There's a lot of players that are, if you go into the first team, a lot of players transfer listed, like Fabian Schär, Matt Ritchie, Jacob Murphy, Save is listed as well. Dwight Gale also listed. So it's going to be interesting, I would imagine. Dubravka has only played 2 games. I think he starts with an injury though, so that might be why. Yeah, he's out for 5 months at the start of the game, so he's just coming back from his injury. So that potentially makes our lives just a smidge easier. St. Maximin and Callum Wilson obviously playing lots of games. Fraser and Jamal Lewis also playing a significant number of games. Goals do seem to be an issue from what I can gather here. Since our top goal scorers both have 5. This was actually available. This job was available because Steve Bruce got sacked. So 2 wins, 5 draws, 10 defeats. You can see why Graham Jones took over as the caretaker manager, but we have taken over Mr. Rescue. Club is rich. How much money do we have to spend? Almost 14 million. I can do something with that. So we're just going to do the normal stuff. So a bunch of players whose contracts are expiring in the not too distant future. Quite a lot of players. So I'm not overly fussed, but I'm kind of curious how many of 36 players are running out of contract. Not ideal, but we don't care because it literally just means we need to do football. We do have a youth intake on the way. Not going to get much out of this. I'm not overly fussed about it. They do want us to develop players using the club's youth system. We have a 2-year contract. We're not going to see it out. We're literally here for 6 months. They want us to sign young players to develop for profit. Don't care, work within the wage budget. They do want us to fight bravely against relegation. I think we can save this club. We can save Newcastle. I'm just going to accept those. I've just thrown together some tactics. I haven't touched them. These are literally as they come. So I've been looking at like a 3 at the back as an option. Okay, put 2 of those in. This is my preferred tactic. Wait, did it? Okay. So we're going to clear this. We're going to create a new one. The one I wanted was a wing play tactic as well, but like a 4-3-3 DM. Okay, so let's fix it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look and see what we have, because we're short staff as well. As you can see, pretty trash in everything across the board. So I'll be back in a hot second with any transfers that have been done. So there's a couple of players that they've signed, like Nketa, who for some reason hasn't even really been involved. They paid a bunch of money for him, just didn't bother playing him. And I don't think anyone has left yet. So not much going out. Not a huge amount in either that's going to be involved in our first team. But we will be back in a hot second when I've done a couple of transfers. Or we might come back for... Actually, yeah, we'll come back at the end of the January transfer window. And I'll update you on how everything is going then. So we will be back in just a second for that. Right, fellas. So as you can see, we've made it to February. We've managed to get through the January transfer window. It's been interesting. I decided to use a double prong attack and had my director of football also doing transfers. Not sure if that was a good idea. We're 8 points behind Leicester now. We do have a game in hand, so if we manage to somehow beat 6th placed Chelsea, then at least we've closed the gap a little bit. But we have had interesting form during January. As you can see, lots of goals. We didn't win too many though. We drew 3-3 with Leicester. I got Joe Linton to score a brace in my first game. That was good. But yeah, Jamie Vardy just kind of decided he was going to win the game for them, and he did. Then we played Fleetwood. Decided to play pretty much all the main players, just to try and play a lot of, like, some of them into some sort of form. We did sign Japhet Tanganga, and he scored, which was nice. St. Maximin and Callum Wilson also getting goals, with John Joe Shelby scoring. Then we beat... No, we didn't. No, we didn't beat Crystal Palace. We lost to Crystal Palace, and it was such a back and forth game. Joe Linton scored, St. Maximin scored for us, and then Callum Wilson got a brace. But unfortunately, Michy Batshuayi decided he really, really wanted to score goals on the day, and he scored their winner. We were 4-2 up. No, it was 4-3, and then they scored 2 goals late-ish. We drew with Sheffield United. Not a huge amount happened in this game. Everyone was a bit poor. Both goalkeepers were decent. That was kind of the gist of it. Then against Derby County, we lost on penalties. Don't want to talk about it. Then we went and played Everton. They were just a lot better in the first half. We did manage to make a slight bit of a comeback, but our defence was just not good enough. Then against Aston Villa, as you can see, Joe Rodon scored a brace for us. Another signing we made. Matty Longstaff missed an early penalty, which, you know, I think against Derby we missed a penalty. No, did we? No, we scored that penalty. But yeah, Joe Rodon scored a brace. St. Maximin scored for us as well. Unfortunately, they scored a screamer with their equalising goal at the end, so it was not ideal. A couple of players that rejected contracts from us. I also have my technical director doing signings. We do have... There's this guy. Oh, this guy. Right, so we were busy. These are all the players that came in. 19 players were signed. Not all of them are going into the first team, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Like I said, my director of football was doing some of these signings, so I'm only going to tell you the important ones. Japhet Tandanga has been quite good, scored on his debut against Fleetwood. He's been starting a good number of games. He's probably been our best centre back. We also signed Jonas Vind. He's been a little disappointing so far. Playing a 6.6 average in the league, 6.56 average overall. Not been great. Joe Rodon, as you saw, has been scoring goals for us. He has been quite good. Spurs didn't actually use him, which I found interesting. Paid 11 million, then sold him to us for cut price. Friday Arp has signed, but he's not had a huge amount of opportunity yet. We got him on a free loan, so that's fine. Martin Braithwaite has signed for us because why not? Decided if we had one striker who wasn't scoring many goals, why not bring in a second? He has played and scored for Barcelona this season, but he's joined us now, and everything's looking mighty fine. It's not really, he's not been great. Adam Smith came in as a right back because Ethan Kraft was absolutely terrible. Played 200 games for Bournemouth, has joined us, 3.3 million, evaluated at 8. He's been fine. Don't care about him. This guy, Zeka, is a right back / left back that my director of football decided to bring in. 4.2 million, a lot of money. Yeah, we'll see. He's a handy player to have. Stelidifis, I signed this guy. As you can see, doesn't have a work permit. He, according to the thing, he had a work permit. When he arrived, he didn't. So he's gone out on loan to Alaves after we paid 2.5 million, potentially raising to 3.8. So, fantastic. Don't care about this guy. Correa is just another fullback option. Came in on loan from Valencia. They're expecting him to be a regular starter. I wouldn't expect him to be a regular starter. Don't care about him. Josh Thyman has joined. Potentially going up to 15.75 million. Again, just a handy left back to have. Daniel James came in. My director of football just okayed this and just made it go through super fast. Did not know he was arriving. That was actually on deadline day. Truffet is a pretty decent looking left back. So brought him in. He's come in on loan. We tried to sign him permanently. Kept rejecting the contract. Brought him in on loan. Everything's fine. These three, just shitters that were brought in. I had no idea that they were arriving. We did sell Jacob Murphy to Brentford for 3 million. Atsu went to Montreal Impact for 1.3. Fabian Schär went to Sampdoria for 3 million. Indelico is a friend of St. Maximin. So when I sold him, St. Maximin threw a hissy fit. Henry Save has gone to Houston for 1.5 million. And Andy Carroll went to Portugal for 30,000. Matt Ritchie's gone to Copenhagen for 1.5 million. Dwight Gale left on a free to Rotherham. And Javi Manquillo came back on deadline day from an injury. So I decided to loan him out because he is just a little bit not at all even remotely fit. So we've still only got one win all season, not under us, but we've managed to accrue 3 more draws in the league, 1 win in the cup, but we only have the league to worry about now. So we have 16 games remaining. We need to start winning games. Speaking of winning games, we are going to be taking on Chelsea in this one. As I said, doing pretty well for themselves. So we have Dubravka starting in goal. He's been average at best. Smith is going to start on the right with Lewis on the left, Rodon and Tanganga as our centre backs, Shelby and Hayden in central midfield, Fraser, Almiron and St. Maximin behind Fide Arp because Callum Wilson is after picking up a knock. And Jeff Hendrick is on the way back from an injury. Joe Linton is just going to sit this one out because he's, again, Emil Kraft has just been so bad. But, players have been really bad. Like Fernandez, 6.36 in his recent 5 games. Carl Darlow hasn't played since I arrived. He's just not been great either. So, Kieran Clark is coming back from an injury. So, hopefully, we can get him on at some point. Potentially, we're going to be just comfortably ahead. I was going to say nobody expects us to do anything in this game. But to be fair, who would? I'm putting Arp up front to make his league start debut. I think this is the first game he's starting for the club. We're just going to put him in there for just Chelsea. Whatever, no big deal. I would like for us to do something in this game. Just like, even if we keep it to like 1-0, that'd be fine. Fraser has actually not been terrible. Oh, St. Maximin's hit the bottom of the post. Yeah, Rain Fraser has been alright. I played him and St. Maximin on the opposite side, and the two of them were a little bit non-existent. And then I swapped them over. It was the derby match, actually, that I swapped the two of them over, and Fraser scored the second equaliser. And I was like, ooh. And it was Fraser that, or was St. Maximin that crossed it over to him. And I was like, Because St. Maximin, for the first, I think it was the first game, he played absolute monstrously on the right, but then just kind of didn't continue in that vein after that when Fraser came back from his injury. So we have gone in a half time, 0-0. Arp is struggling, as is John Joe Shelby. Something I can do to help Shelby. Wants to be a playmaker, but I don't really want to play two playmakers. So unless I set Almiron to be a shadow striker, I'll leave you be an advanced playmaker, because I'm not a big fan of deep lying playmakers this year. Make Arp a pressing forward to see if we can do something with that. You know? Mendy's having a great game. I suppose kind of makes sense because we've had 8 shots and he hasn't conceded. Unfortunately, though, we do concede. Reece James, of all people, Reece James is the one that scores from a free kick. His first ever goal for Chelsea. The beast that that is Reece James. And suddenly all the Chelsea players are playing really well now. That's FM things. You know, everyone's having a mediocre game. One player scores a goal and suddenly it's like, oh yeah, we're all having a great game now. Arp, you are just not having a great game. I'm going to bring on Vind. Yeah. Shelby's not having a great game. We're going to bring on Longstaff because he played fairly well in this position last time. Although I would like to have him as the box, but I don't really want Hayden. Do I want Hayden being a playmaker? He's got 10 vision. Couldn't pick out a pass if it was in front of him. Just be a Mazzella. Thank you. And I think we leave it at that for the time being. Yeah. So it's not terrible. Like I said, I'd take a 1-0 defeat. Wouldn't be ideal, but I'd take it. St. Maximin, you're going to come off. I'm going to bring on, go on, Dan James. What do you want to be when you grow up? He's 23. Did not know that. I thought Dan James was still like 19, maybe 20. Chuck a bit of attacking for the final 5 or so minutes. Try to fire the lads up. And we are going to lose to Chelsea. Yeah. Okay, I don't think... I'm starting to struggle to see us saving Newcastle. I think this might be a 0 for 1 in the old saving department. Because if Burnley win their game, again, Burnley's game against Tottenham. Tottenham did lose to Brighton in their last game, though. If Burnley win their game, then it's a 10-point gap to safety. It's not ideal. Mourinho is spotted. Just watch. Tanganga got 18 games without a win, but I've not been in charge for all 18 of those. I've only been in charge for 8. So, you know, that's fine. Yeah, I think the next episode we'll come back at the end of March, and I'll update you on how everything's getting on then, and we'll take on West Ham. We're going to do it in so this is 1, 2, probably do it in 3 or 4 episodes. We'll get the whole season finished. I can't imagine we're going to save them, but like I said, we will be back for West Ham at the end of March. If you have enjoyed this episode, do make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment down below. How bad are my transfers? I'm gonna say not. I don't think they've gone all that well, to be honest. I think we've made a big boo-boo. Yeah. Alright, well. Thanks for watching, fellas, and I'll see you in the next one.